All right. Good morning. Coming to you live from Axe Media Group headquarters here in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay, with your hosts, Matt and Jay. Propellers. On the cross, you died for me. Shed your blood for me. On Calvary. We're good, backed up. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay. Good morning.
We're glad to have everybody with us on this beautiful day. You know what I say, Jay? What do you say? Hey.
I say, hey. Good morning, people.
Well,
I'm sorry I'm not with you at the moment. I'm getting some things done as I should.
Getting things done as you should.
Yes.
There we are. Ask me. Oh, there we went. Where do we go? There we are.
All right. So I believe
I
did.
Right out of the gate today, I want to let everybody know that Skylar Carter will not be here today. He is at work on his last 2 days of work before he ships out.
Good morning, Linda.
Yeah, Scott,
we'll miss you, Skylar.
Marcia's mom passed away last night, everybody.
Oh.
So pray for her and pray for Scott and pray for the rest of the family there. She died around 9 o'clock in the evening last night.
Yep.
So
we talked about this not too long ago, about Lazarus.
Yeah.
And so also they plotted to kill Lazarus. Why? Because people were
flocking to Christ because of him.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was this evidence of this person's life that had been raised from the grave. So I think that's why it is important, to ask people who have lost somebody, what were they like? I think in some way that helps them to, connect it to how life is now without it.
Now, I have to say, I found out that there is, I can't remember the name of the town, and even if I did remember it, I wouldn't mention it. We've talked about this before. There was a shooting where 16 people were shot and injured, but this was a month ago.
Okay.
Well, it was recently, but they buried it. They didn't let the media know about it.
Yeah. Because
they didn't want to. The last thing the people that are grieving need is to be hassled by...
pasted all over the news. Yeah.
So, good morning, Mary Gill. God bless you, dearest family, she says. Thank you very much.
So we should mourn with those who mourn. And what was the thing that the Jews came and did for Mary and Martha?
Sit and shiva?
Yeah, but they
mourned together.
They not ministered.
Minister to be a good one. Good morning, Steve Schultz.
Yeah.
How are you holding up after your surgery?
Yeah, tell us about it. It was John 11.
So I went to the baseball game last night with the students. It was fun. We won. It was. I left at the bottom of the ninth.
Of course you won, right?
Yeah. Well, we didn't the last time I went. It was 3-0 whenever I left. Morning, Larry Milton. Welcome to the party. It's not a super exciting day today. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. This is Labor Day weekend. So as we go about our week and our weekend, everybody be careful out there. Don't drink and drive. Ubers are way less expensive. Jay Hunt, welcome to the show. Good morning.
To comfort.
Comfort, yeah.
Concerning their brother.
Yeah. That works. Comfort.
Where would comfort come from when somebody loses somebody? I think it would be, what comfort is there in the loss except the memory? So they must have somehow, been, talked about who he was.
Yeah.
Talked about who they'd lost.
Yeah, and everybody in that town knew him. So there were a lot of people that were mourning with her. That is the tradition that they have still to this day that I think is pretty cool. Is the sit and shiva.
They're really committed to it, too.
Yeah, and the families all come, and they spend...
I think that's the Orthodox tradition, though.
It's still
I
pretty
don't
cool,
think
though.
it's. I don't think they all do it.
I think it's still pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I think it's a great tradition.
That's like, I mean, in a time like this, a time of loss, most people won't know what to say. But that's because sometimes you don't need to say anything.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is pray for the person and then just be there.
Tell us who she was.
Yeah.
Tell us what she was like.
She was a wonderful lady.
Yeah.
She,
I mean, if you let somebody do that, then you can talk to. Sometimes there's forgiveness that still needs to be given.
she played some songs that she
Left.
wrote.
Oh, yeah?
Years in a row. She would always pick up my guitar, or she'd bring her own. And
So you knew her.
yeah. She was a sweet lady, and she could sing.
Yeah.
And she could play. Her songs were old fashioned, old timey, like Southern gospel style, but they were good songs.
Yeah.
They were good.
Were they Christian songs?
Oh, yeah.
Or were they,
Oh, yeah.
So it was gospel.
Yeah.
You already said that song.
Yeah. It was gospel. It was
So foot stomping. Was there some of that?
No, it wasn't necessarily foot stomping
They were
because
more
it was slower.
melodious.
Yeah, it was more like a ballad for Christ. You know,
Right.
they're pretty good. They were cool. I liked them.
Yeah.
But
Was she funny or serious or was she?
she was kind of serious. She smiled and stuff. But of course, I didn't know her, but the last 10 years of my life. So
Right. Well, I guess that would be the last 10 years of hers, though.
yeah.
What she was most like, what she'd become.
Yeah, she was always very soft spoken, very quiet. You know, she'd sit there and just enjoy everybody's company. And then whenever the guitars came out, boy, then she'd pick it up and she'd start to jamming
So
away.
were these around meals, or how did you?
It was around. Well, yeah, it was Thanksgiving,
Okay.
Christmas, and stuff. Scott would always go get her from the nursing home and bring her over, so she could have meals with everybody.
I wonder if she cooked when she was younger.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
She prepared meals and drew the family to the table.
I'm sure she did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. We need to get Marsha on here and have like what we would call if she would be up to it, a celebration of life for her mother.
Love you, Steve. Miss you. And it's good to see you on Facebook some more.
Steve
And I
Schultz.
hope your knee heals quickly, because I know that.
He says
Can be a-
therapy is hard, but you got to do it.
Yeah. Love you, Steve.
Larry
Good morning,
Melton's.
Larry. Pray for Larry and his church. I hope he doesn't mind me saying they need some technical help. So if you have done sound for a church and you're looking for a church to attend and you think maybe you could help that way, I think service is really a great way to get involved with a church. So
Very
if you-
fulfilling.
Yeah. So if you know anybody who's been in that kind of service, and who could use a commitment where they could serve and be needed every week at church, something that might give them a purpose in the church that would draw them to church every week.
Yeah.
That's a really great way to get involved with the church and to start attending church if you maybe don't attend church as consistently as you should. Or
Right.
could.
Which is a lot of us.
And we've been there. They're very encouraging people. They're also attentive.
Yeah.
You don't lose them.
No, you don't.
These are friends that we've had on Facebook who are consistently showing up.
Absolutely, and they show up to like whenever we play somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a few of them that show up there.
Yeah.
Some of them even show up to help, like set up or tear down.
They're no joke. It's a small church.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a big church, so
Yeah.
it needs to grow. But I remember one of the families had a house fire that burned down, and they just went right into action. And this is a small church.
Yeah.
And they did big things for this
yeah,
family.
absolutely.
And this family never stopped serving the church through this disaster that they
Yeah.
suffered.
Yeah, they even served us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Right. I mean, like the day after, or it was within a week or something.
Yeah, because we played out at the square, and they showed up at the square.
Yeah.
They were handing out waters and stuff with their church address on it, but they helped us set up, and
Yeah.
some of them stayed and helped tear down.
If you
You know-
want to be consistently involved with a church, find purpose there with a group of people who will be committed to you as you are to them. It's what's the name of the church again?
It's Northwest Baptist.
Northwest Baptist Church, and it's on what road is that?
I don't know if that's
It's on the same road that
Norton?
Maranatha's on.
No, it's on the other side of Kansas. It's an off road. Okay, so it's
Tell us, Larry.
right by North Point. It's right by North Point. Like if you're coming from Kansas and you'll be heading west, like you go.
Kansas goes north or south.
Yeah, but I'm saying you'll be turning west, off of Kansas.
Yes, off of Kansas.
Onto like
by the Lowe's.
By the Lowe's.
The two come and goes.
Yeah.
It rhymes.
Yeah, it does. And then you take that little, and it curves around. You'll find the Humane Society will be on your right.
Yeah.
And then just past that, just a little up the hill, on your right is Northwest Baptist. You can't miss it. It's a pretty
Isn't
big.
there a humane? You said the Humane Society, but also there's 44.
North Road.
44 North Road. You'd be riding right along 44, headed west.
Things went okay at Grant Beach, Steve. I will say that there was not a lot of people. They had a rock and roll band on the main stage, and we were kind of
Secular rock and roll.
Secular rock and roll, yeah. And we were put back in front of the
Pool.
train museum,
Right in front of it. Yep.
like between the pool and the train museum, and the people in the pool were singing with us and dancing and
young kids.
Yeah, and I think one of them was even headbanging.
What was the song that they loved so much? They recognized.
I'll Fly Away.
I'll Fly Away.
And I Saw the Light.
And I Saw the Light. Those are great songs.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows them. And recognizes
Yeah,
them.
we went camping with Midtown Recovery, and it was on a party weekend.
Yeah.
And we were singing, and as soon as we started singing those old, fast Southern gospel, I Fly Away, I Saw the Light, He Set Me Free, stuff like that, then the drunk people came up and started singing with us.
Yeah.
You remember that? There's a couple of drunk people that did that. Everybody knows those. Sandy Bray, good morning. She showed up.
Sandy.
She showed up at the.
Yeah, she was there.
And
she stayed with us.
Yeah, she was there. She let us know on Facebook that she was on her way because I sent a short video saying, "Hey,
we're here."
We're here,
I saw
blah, blah,
that.
blah. And she came up and she did. She stayed the whole time.
Yeah.
Now,
She did go mingle, and she got some stuff from
Yeah.
the event where
Oh,
there
yeah.
was food and there was ice cream.
they brought us a bunch of pizzas.
Yeah, I had a hot dog, delicious.
You
Really?
can't go really. It's hard to go wrong with hot dogs.
Yeah, mustard and mayonnaise.
Oh yeah, plain Jane all the way.
They had bottled water, cold, iced cold bottled water.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of like 3 or 4 Powerades.
Yeah, we had pizza.
Yeah,
The park board, was it the park board?
yeah.
They brought us pizza.
There was like 7 or 8 of them.
Lots of pizza.
Yeah, there was no going home hungry.
They had groceries. What was this park again? Grant Beach.
Grant Beach, yeah.
Yeah.
It was called National Night Out.
National Night Out. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to plug Gators Ice.
Gators Ice.
Gators Ice is, now don't think it's a snow cone. It's not a snow cone. It's a shaved ice thing.
Right. See,
And-
they freeze alligators,
Yeah.
and then they shave
It was like
them.
that far above the top of the cup.
Was it really?
Yeah, and it was
What
all.
flavor did you get?
I got grape.
Grape is
And
good.
it was, man, the ice, whenever you bite into it, it's not really crunchy. It's like, I don't know, it's hard to
And
explain.
it doesn't turn your lips purple, because I didn't
Yeah.
notice, and I would have.
Oh, yeah, it turned my lips purple.
Did it really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, how did I miss that?
Well, because I didn't finish drinking it until we were
I was
done.
visiting the whole time.
Well, no, this was at the end of the night.
Oh.
I actually got that right as
okay.
it started to sprinkle. I paid for it. Then by the time I got from Gators Ice back over to where we were playing, it was pouring down rain.
Yes,
And,
we were in
um,
a scramble to put everything away.
That poor sound guy, I thought he was packed up. So I come up, man, perfect timing, because we thought it was going to rain all day. And it didn't. It
Right.
held off long enough.
Yeah.
And then it was all of a sudden, it was pouring.
He
He's like,
was really great.
yeah, he was. His he was like, no, it's not. I'm not packed up yet.
Yeah.
So then we're all scrambling, trying to help him, and
He had young kids who were at that, pre and post adolescent age.
yeah,
So it was, his crew was a little unprepared, untrained,
unexperienced.
unexperienced.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
And
they were working hard
he
and
got-
trying their best.
yeah, and he was getting a little snappy with them,
Yeah, he was.
but that's because they were panicking too.
Yeah, and they didn't know what to do.
Right. Good morning, Jessica Batson.
Yep. Yeah, good morning, Jessica.
Larry says he moved the double-decker car to Grant Beach on that track. There's a double-decker
okay.
railroad car. I wanted to go in there and check it out. And
That's a heavy piece of equipment.
yeah.
I would have liked to have seen that rolling down the road.
Yeah. But they used to have whole trains of them, didn't they? They're passenger trains.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had animals that they would haul in those particular double-deckers. I've always wanted to ride in an actual double-decker bus, an English double-decker bus. You know,
You can eat in one.
yeah, London Calling.
Yeah.
And it's over off of Kearney Street, right?
Yep.
I think they were up there at Grant Beach the other day too.
Were they?
Yeah, there's a lot of weird British food there.
Yeah.
You know,
It was disappointing, though.
it was.
You know, I think they're reaching out to the community and trying to bring the community together. And there's problems in the communities with drugs, alcohol, family issues,
Trafficking.
Children with opportunities that are not godly and are not healthy. And then they have a rock band, and you know what rock's about. Secular rock bands and what they teach and what they promote, and really they promote all the things that lead to those conditions worsening.
Yeah.
So that was disappointing that they made that decision to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You know, I've been doing some praying about it. I don't know that I'm gonna do it again next year. Well, I'll tell you more about it afterwards.
That's a real struggle. I understand it.
Yeah. Well, you know.
But you got to remember those kids.
Yeah.
And who knows what they went home saying.
That's true.
I mean, they were rocking out to "I'll Fly Away," right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows what happened when they went home? They might have said, "Hey."
I will have to say it was kind of torturous when it was hot, watching all that water dump down. They have that thing that goes off every 5 minutes, where it just dumps a whole bunch of water down on that slide and everything.
Yeah.
So,
well, it kind of makes
Marcia,
me think.
we're praying for you.
Yeah.
We love you.
Tell us about your mom. We'd like to know.
Steve says Jim Stone across from Glenn Stone across from Evangel.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that bus.
Yeah.
That place.
Sandy Bray says, I wish I could post a video I took. It was sad and disappointing.
What was?
That's what Sandy Bray said. Yeah, which video are you talking about? Are you talking about?
Oh, I think she's talking about the park show.
Yeah.
But the kids were I think the kids enjoyed it, and
Yeah.
I imagine that they didn't just go home and forget about singing "I'll Fly Away."
Right.
at the
Some
park.
band, standing out there, basically giving them a private show.
Yeah. Look, we're all mortal.
Yeah.
Death is the end of all of our lives, and so when we can bring somebody's attention to
The good Lord.
right, I mean, it's eat, drink, and be merry. If we don't have something to look forward
For tomorrow we die.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
Ecclesiastes, right?
Look, hey, I did the eat, drink, and be merry, and guess what? The merry part ended up being a little bit
Not so merry.
elusive.
Elusive. That's a really good word. To
Yeah.
use.
Occasionally I was invited, and occasionally I was visited by joy and happiness and friendship, but most of the time it was a lot of suffering and strife and conflict, just within myself.
There wasn't a whole lot of people there.
No, there wasn't.
And
The
I
year
honestly
before,
think,
when we were on the main stage, there
I
was
mean,
500 at least
yeah,
at a time.
yeah,
And there were people coming and going, so I don't know what the numbers really were.
yeah. They're blamed. They say, oh, it's because of the weather. Well, the
weather was perfect.
Yeah,
It was
the weather was
overcast
perfect.
and cool.
Yeah, it was overcast last year too. I think they just didn't want to tell us. Good morning, Velma. I just think they didn't want to be rude and tell us that we couldn't come.
And that's the thing, is those ungodly people who hate God and hate the things of God and want to eat, drink, and be merry and think that they can't be merry because of us, that we introduce guilt and shame.
Timothy and Tessimone.
I
Welcome
think
to the
they're
party.
the voices that are being sanctified today.
Yeah.
The church is not sanctified as it should be. It doesn't stand out. The voices are standing out. The voices that are standing out are the ones who are the most perverse. The
And that's-
more perverse you can be, the more the voice stands out, and the more, and so because that perversion is what people are seeing as sanctified now, that's what they're going to, because their life, there's something wrong, they need help, they want to change, so they go to this perverted thing that is sanctified, not sanctified by God.
But sanctified
It stands apart.
means to be set aside.
Set apart, right? And they want that. They want to be set apart. So we have to be more sanctified. We have to shine more as a light in the world. And I want to do that. I want to do that because I see the world being lost and people being lost.
So we're going to go ahead and take a real quick little commercial break.
Let's do that.
Yeah. How's my face?
Did I go too heavy there?
No. I just want to go ahead and get that done. All right. Wipe it on over. Am I over there? I know
There
my people
are,
can see.
You are.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us here today. This show is brought to you. I about said this donut.
Oh, was I off? Did I miss my cue?
No, that's all right. You were ahead of schedule there. But this show is brought to you by Berberine HCI from NaturalSolutionStore.bz.
.bz.
It has antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and immune-enhancing properties. It's effective against a wide range of bacteria and protozoa and fungi. Me, I'm a fun guy. Anyways, it can be used topically also on cuts and other wounds. It is perhaps most commonly used to treat gastrointestinal issues, including traveler's diarrhea, which doesn't sound fun at all, and food poisoning. Preliminary research suggests that berberine's beneficial effects may cascade into helping many different conditions, including, but not limited to, depression, perhaps due to the increase of noradrenaline and serotonin, cancer. Berberine may help to suppress tumor growth and spread, and it's also an antioxidant. It has anti-inflammatory and antiviral effects against the flu. This is a it also helps with the NAFLA, the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So here's what it does. It helps to lower cholesterol, blood sugar metabolism, and it supports cardiovascular health. And you can get yours by going online, www.naturalsolutionstore.bz, and pick up a bottle today.
.bz.
.bz.
We're back.
And we're back. So, let me find my Facebook here again. All right. So, what were we talking about, Jay?
Being sanctified.
Being
The
sanctified?
things that are standing out in the world today, people are going to because they are standing out as set apart, and they're not sanctified by God. And I see a lot of things happening in the church that do sanctify the church and do make it stand out. But but the media doesn't help. The media doesn't want the church. The media thinks that the church and its sanctification is the source of guilt and shame.
Church
and
is the
following the flesh and having whatever you want without consequences, what
Right.
they want and want to promote. There's no way to avoid consequence. There's no way.
No. It's a cause-effect.
Yeah.
So the law of causality or something to
I
that
saw
extent?
something about New Zealand making it legal to have a relation.
Getting married to your animal?
Get married to your animal.
That's
And this is a perversion.
Oh, yeah.
It's perverted because look, a dog or a cat or a pet is gonna depend on you. It's gonna love you. It's always gonna agree with you because it can't disagree. It wouldn't even understand well enough to be able to disagree. It's just gonna follow you and love you and be your pet. And so if you make it your spouse, yeah, seems like the perfect pet. But what about when you know something's wrong and the dog is supportive?
Yeah.
And you're like, something's got to change, and the dog's like, why? Everything's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
And then it just eats
throw
while,
that ball.
and it eats happily while you're miserable. What about
Yeah.
those times? Can a dog really respond to you in that way?
I don't know. Deacon probably can. Not in a romantic way, but he can definitely.
No, I don't mean a romantic way, but what about when you just are troubled and you're not sure and you need somebody to help you work things out? You need somebody to talk to and to really work something out that's troubling your mind.
Yeah, dogs can't exactly
a pet
talk.
can't do that. A
No.
pet can't do that. They can distract you for a time.
Yeah.
But just like all other relationships, even complicated human relationships, that's
Human
difficult
relationships
to
are
manage.
complicated?
Yeah, that's difficult to manage, right?
I was being sarcastic because
Yeah. And I'm not talking about romantic ones. I'm talking
really,
about all
really
of
bad.
them. All of them.
All of them. That's every relationship.
So this is a perversion that won't satisfy.
No.
And you will have troubles and needs and you will need somebody to talk and bounce things off of and work things out and say, hey, what's right, what's wrong, how can this be better?
I do want to say that these are our opinions. These are not the opinion of the ACT Media Group, ACT's Ministry, or any of its subordinates or affiliates or subsidiaries, whatever you want to call it. It's our opinion and ours alone. ACT's Ministry and ACT's Media Group has nothing to do with our opinions.
Right.
But yeah.
So I think all perversions really corrupt God's creation.
Where's the
and
line?
What his intention
That's
was.
what I'm wanting to know. Are they ever going to find the line that they won't cross?
It's death.
I don't
Eat,
think...
drink, and be merry, and then for tomorrow we die. That's it. There's no point or purpose except to eat, drink, and be merry without consequence.
Hi, Jessica. Jessica Thomas.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, Jessica Thomas. She's the founder, or she runs the Sentimental Hoarder in Kansas City. It's got all kinds of really cool stuff there.
Velma.
Hit her up if you want an appointment to see all this stuff. If you like rummage sales and antiques and cool things like that, go in there. You will not be disappointed. This place is so full of people. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put her number up there just because. See, where's it at?
I have it too, I think. No, I think I did get rid of it.
Did you?
I'll just let you do it.
Well, I'm putting it up. I'm putting it up on the screen. Sentimental Hoarder. That is, for those of you listening on the radio, that is 913-529-9272 to call and make an appointment to have a private tour of this place.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's located downtown Kansas City, and it's called the Sentimental Hoarder, and it's again 913-529-9272, or you can hit Jessica up on Facebook if you want to chat with her a little bit about it. So There you go, Jessica. A little shout out to you there. I still been meaning to show people pictures of that because I still have a bunch of pictures on my phone. There's so many cool artistic things there.
Yeah.
All kinds of glassware. There's a iron Indian headdress.
Oh yeah.
That's made out of iron feathers and stuff. So
I bet that's heavy.
it's a sculpture. It's not really. It doesn't look that heavy, but of course, I don't know if it's iron. It's
You're not wearing it.
No, I'm not. I probably would not wear it.
Yeah.
Be a little heavy. My neck muscles would be like. My neck would disappear.
What would they be like again? Right.
Because that's the sound muscles make whenever they flex, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Especially when they flex against iron headdresses.
You hear
yeah,
that?
like that. Yep.
That also sounds like your dentist tools.
Yeah, a lot like it.
That's so funny. Okay, so let's explain why we say that about the dentist tools. So Jay helps out with the youth on Friday Night Freeway.
Yeah.
And the teacher was downstairs. We were all talking, and Jay was talking about, I had to do some dental work on some kids or something. He said, I was their dentist. Knocked
So
their
that's
teeth
why they
out.
call me the dentist.
Yeah. And she just was pretending like you didn't actually say that.
Well,
It was pretty funny.
and anybody from, I don't know if I can mention this, but the Friday night thing that I do with the children, there's been a conflict, and we've lost a lot of children from a particular program that are really important to the program, and it's disappointing and it's sad. But listen, there's an aspect of this Friday night thing that we do that that a lot of people have not considered.
Right.
When these children come together and we're in the gym and they're playing, it's very chaotic, but they all have their own play.
Right.
And they all have someone to play with, and this is a great and joyous time that we get to see and even enjoy. We play with the kids too. We shoot baskets, we play with balls, we do
the floss.
Yeah, we do things we don't even know what they're doing sometimes. We're just there.
Yeah. Didn't they teach you how to do the floss?
Yeah, they taught me how to do the floss, and they so enjoyed that when I got it right. They enjoyed it when I was getting it wrong, but they enjoyed it when I got it right. They really loved that. The whole class, as soon as I got it right and started actually performing it correctly, the whole class just all of a sudden started doing it.
And then
They said you can't do that anymore.
Then he started doing it all the time, knowing that I can't stand it.
So what I wanted to get to about that
Yeah.
is a lot of people from a particular program have pulled their children out of the Friday night at First Baptist. And I want to tell you that during the gym time and the children are playing, yes, but in the classroom, there was so much chaos and such a lack of discipline and such a lack of self-control for the children that we weren't able to teach them the curriculum, and they weren't even able to hear the Word of God we were trying to teach. I don't know what this is, I don't know why, but it was difficult. And what we really were doing was chasing and putting out fires, one child to the next, who was just on their own path with no focus and no self-control. And so we introduced some discipline.
Steve wants you to do the floss.
No, I can't.
Oh.
I'm out of practice.
I tried, Steve.
But listen, I want to tell you, we had to introduce some very harsh discipline. We had to eject people from the class with no second chances because they had been given chances. We had chased them and chased them and chased them to put out these fires, and these children were really disrupting the class. They were, and we could not get through the curriculum. We couldn't even coherently speak the Word of God in a way that anyone would receive it.
Right.
And so we had to introduce a very harsh discipline. And yes, the teacher was frustrated and gets frustrated because we can't succeed at the curriculum that we're entrusted to teach. And the children were leaving without having learned it.
Right.
So we introduced this very harsh discipline. We ejected children from the class because we wanted them to know that there's a time to play, but that's in the gym. There's a time to be a good student, and that's in the classroom. And that if they weren't going to be a good student at the right time, they had to be ejected because they were disrupting the class and we couldn't teach the curriculum. Well, since we introduced that curriculum, that discipline, that harsh, and I wouldn't say unforgiving, but absolute discipline, that if they disrupted the class, they would be removed from the class. If they persistently interrupted the class, they would be removed.
Yeah.
So the children, of course, do consistently interrupt the class. But now that they know the consequence and that it means they'll be removed from the class and they want to be there and participate with the other kids, they realize that there will be a harsh discipline, and then they turn their thoughts inwardly, control themselves, and focus on the curriculum.
Yeah.
And so since we've implemented this, the children who have remained in the class, whose parents have not removed them, the children in the class are now seriously considering their lives and what requests they might bring to all of us so that we could all petition the Lord on their behalf. This is a great thing.
Yeah.
And this all came from this discipline that interrupted the chaos and brought order to the classroom so that they could be good students at the right time. And so now they're doing this prayer. They're seriously considering their lives and the lives of their loved ones, and they're introducing their loved ones to all of us by their prayer requests for them. These are great things that are happening through this. And we're sorry that maybe your child was ejected from the class at times.
Larry said, that sounds like the kids at our church, he says. Mary Gill says, I agree with Jason. And then Larry also said one kid tore a downspout off of the church last Sunday.
Look, the parents of the children who were ejected were not happy that they were in their own class.
And then they made it like
trying
it was your
to
fault.
learn, and then their children ended up being ejected from the class, so their children had to go and sit next to them, or the people in charge of the program had to keep the children with them, and they didn't really have a curriculum. They were just basically there.
Keeping them out of trouble.
Yeah, well, keeping them out of the class.
Yeah.
So that the time for the children to be good students could be the time for them to be good students and learn.
Now, the good thing about that is you've also seen students give their lives over to the Lord.
We have seen that.
And like there's one in particular. There's a girl, and she brings friends with her to church.
Yes.
But they started going to Freeway there, and now their whole family is members of the church. Her mom works with the babies, I've seen the change from the moment that when I first met this girl.
Yeah.
She has completely, what do you call that, 180, where you go the opposite direction. She's completely turned around.
Yes.
And she serves a lot, but that's just
There are
one
many.
case.
There
That's
are
just one
many.
case.
There are children who had absolutely no self-discipline, didn't even understand or even have a care to think about it. And I'm not saying that we're responsible for this. I'm
No.
sure that this is a time in their life. We have them at,
It's all God.
they're elementary students. So this is a time in their life where this change has to come.
Yeah.
And we were part of it. And I'm blessed that we were. But not only did we get to be a part of it, but this time in their life when they're realizing that self-discipline can keep them in a place that they want to be rather than having to be subject to authoritative discipline.
Yeah.
So they get to discipline themselves, participate in the class, learn something, and what we're teaching is the Word of God.
Right.
And we're teaching prayer.
Yeah.
So we're sorry that you may have been offended by your child having to be ejected from the class. We're sorry. But we had to interrupt the chaos
You got to think about the other children.
in order to implement order so that we could teach the curriculum, which is the Word of God.
Exactly.
So come back, please, and understand that your child may have to suffer this discipline.
Yeah.
But
If they misbehave.
but don't support them,
right.
and don't fight us.
Back up the discipline that you implement. That
Teach
we
them,
implement.
teach them that they have to learn self-control, or else they will have to suffer authoritative control.
And if you're not doing that, you're basically teaching them that they can use their parents against anybody, and they don't have to.
Right.
They don't have to worry about the consequences of their actions because their parents are okay with what they do.
And
if
these
their parents are okay with it, then it's good.
Yeah, these children were not suffering for it. They had a time to play. In the gym, you were there when you
Yeah.
dropped them off.
Mm-hmm.
But then they went to the class, and that's not time to play. That's time to be a good student.
Right.
And they have, through authoritative discipline and their desire to participate with the other kids, expressed self-control, learned self-control, have introduced self-control in their own lives apart from their classes, and understood that there's a time for other things, and that if they control themselves, they can have relationships, they can be part of communities, they can have a purpose where they can actually contribute and be appreciated and loved and needed.
Yeah.
So these are all good things that maybe came from something difficult and harsh and painful.
Mary says she's got 6 years experience. She said, according to my experience to do in class, different different activities. The children in class and the focus come on to learn. Okay, so now I'll let you guys know that Mary Gill English is her second language, so typing is a bit different. So I'm going to try to figure out, you might explain a little bit further, Mary, what you're trying to say there.
Well, listen, the curriculum is attractive to the kids because what we're teaching them about is people like David, right? David and Goliath. David becoming the appointed predecessor to, is it not predecessor, who's after? He was appointed to come after Saul and be king.
Predecessor.
Right, and then it teaches about David, how he expressed self-control. He was in a cave with his enemy, Saul, who was trying to kill him. And as the already appointed future king, that God had chosen, as he stood there quietly in the darkness next to Saul, he said, Lord, this is your king who you appointed, and you will have to take his life in order for me to be king. I will not do it by my own hand.
Right.
Right?
Right.
He had that opportunity. He no longer had to be on the run. He could have emerged from that cave as the king, appointed by God, expressed by God through the prophet. Right?
Yeah, he had it.
But he chose not to do that because he loved the Lord. And the Lord chose Saul before he chose David. And David said, Lord, when it's your time, you will have to do it, and then I will take my place. This is what they learn. David, when he faced Goliath, did he face Goliath because he was tough and bad and angry? And no, he came and he heard this man mocking God, this God that he knew and
made him
loved.
angry. Made him angry.
It didn't make him angry. He said it made him take his place in the world as God had appointed him to take. He went out there confidently in the Lord and said, "You will not mock my God." And then he took his and he killed him.
It's kind of funny that you can imagine being King Saul, and you don't have a single man in your army that's willing to take on this giant.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot
And
at
Saul
stake.
was a man who was tall in stature.
Yeah.
Who was probably one of the most formidable, who could have gone out onto the field and at least
held his own for a bit.
Held his own.
Now,
better than the rest of his army, maybe.
And
and he was afraid.
David was just there bringing like cheese and stuff to his brothers because they were in the military.
And he heard this guy and said, "Whoa, wait a minute."
And he's like, "Wait, well,
no.
Who is this uncircumcised Philistine
right.
that he can talk about my God like that?"
Right.
And he even went to the king. He's like, "Well, I'll face him."
Yeah, I'll do
The
it.
king says, "Well, you're just a boy." He says, "No." He's talking bad about God.
Yeah.
God's on my side. He said, "I have killed bears and lions protecting my sheep. I can do the same to this guy. This is just another, like a lion or beast."
Yeah.
And so he put...
This is what they're learning in these classes.
Yeah, and then he put his armor on David. Saul put his armor on David. It was too heavy.
And God went before him.
Yeah, I did. Can you imagine the shock, the shock you would feel as a Philistine watching? All right, so you're out there. He's going out every single day, and he's calling out to Israel, saying, "Hey, anybody wants to come and fight me? We'll settle this like men." And then nobody ever answers it. Then here comes this little 16-year-old, and he was scrawny.
Yeah.
He was a little guy.
But God prepared him like he did Jesus.
Yeah.
The bread, the word. He ground him against the bear because he had to protect the sheep. That was his job. That was his identity. That's who he was.
Thunk.
He didn't say, "Look at me, I'm little." He said, "Look at this bear. My purpose is to protect the sheep. I'm going to do it."
Then he cut off his head using his own sword.
Yeah, God prepared him.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut off. Yeah.
Cut off. And later that sword, he used that sword.
Here's what else we teach in the class, right?
Yeah.
Mercy, grace. David then does become king. God does remove Saul. And God does elevate his man, who he loved, who he chose, David. A man after his own heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
So David comes up there and he says, "I promised Jonathan, my friend, Saul's son, that I would protect his legacy and I would show mercy to..."
And that's what he did.
And so he took and he went out, and I can't remember the name of the man, but he went out and he searched out this son of Jonathan.
Yeah.
And he brought him in.
And that, the line of Saul was supposed to disappear.
Yes.
And God allowed it because
As a matter of fact, this son of Jonathan was lame because he was dropped out a window to save his life from those who would kill him and keep him from being a rival to David's legacy.
Wow.
That's how his legs were broken. That's why he was lame.
Mary says, sorry, but I want to just touch back on this. She said, what I meant to say was, do things that the children find attractive. That basically doing things that the children love to do. Children want to learn and focus on what the teachers do. We teach them that way that's how children learn easily. So if you do things that they enjoy doing and implement a lesson into it,
Yeah.
they learn it a lot easier.
There were different circumstances in this class, and I don't know what it was, and I thank you for that, Mary, but that was our attempt. That was what we were attempting to do, but the chaos was so sporadic and in so many different directions that we and we have such a short time. Another thing
get that later.
is our actual time with the children ends up being like 45 minutes.
Yeah. And that's really not very much. Before you know it,
Yeah.
it's done. Like we've been on the air for 48 minutes.
Yeah, we need, and of course we can do better, and we want to do better.
Yeah.
But we love these children, and we want them to learn that there is a God who loves them, who wants them, and who can lead them, right?
Yeah.
Who has made them to serve a purpose in this world that is sanctified.
Yeah.
That is what they seek. To be sanctified, to be set apart. You know?
Yeah.
We all want to be the rock star, right?
Right.
What is it about the rock star that we want to be? This sanctified, this person who stands apart from all the others on the stage, that all of the eyes are on them saying, I want to be like that, right? Well, we're trying to teach these children to be sanctified and godly so that they can, throughout their life, when all of the children see these troubles coming and going, they see this child who trusts God, right?
Yeah.
And God comforts them.
So Timothy in Testimony says, great message today. It's so awesome to get to watch you and listen. It's been a long time. Hopefully next time I'm in Springfield I can buy you lunch. I love the message, though. He says, I tell my adult clients the same. Often there is always an outcome, good or bad. Sorry, this is a little bit of a longer one. Good or bad for every action. If we instill this fact in our youth, then we can shape adults to be responsible. So many adults want to blame others for their choices. Many probably learned young to blame the disciplinarian, blame the disciplinarian, and not take responsibility for themselves. Also, on David, he said, I've recently been reading David versus Goliath by Gladwell, and even though I disagree with some of the aspects of his book, the overall point is that we are called to act, each with our own skills. We have to recognize the skills and are shaped by God and allow us to overcome great obstacles. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's from Timothy. We appreciate you. All right. Now, we've already done a couple of what you call it.
Yeah.
Let me get this out of the way here. So yeah.
My point, and thank you, I'm glad that there was a message in that for people, but if you're listening and you're part of this program that I'm talking about, please bring your children back. This discipline is not harmful to them. The results that we've gained, the results that we've gotten from this discipline where we remove children who refuse to control themselves and think still that this is a time to play instead of time to be a good student, the result has been that good students have emerged.
Yeah.
When we talk about the lesson, they want to answer the questions. They want to know the answers to the questions, and they do.
Right.
They raise their hand and they answer the question. Right?
Yeah.
So they see the message. They know the message.
That's
the result. So
and
come back.
It's very
please.
rewarding too, as a teacher, from a teacher standpoint, seeing that the Lord is using you to teach them, is to seeing them learn and knowing that there's hope for their future.
Knowing that someday they'll be at school, and
Yeah.
they'll suffer in some way, and their mind will torture them, and all of the things in the world that come against us will come against them. And when they are at their weakest, they will know there's a God that's strong, and they will turn to him, and they will emerge sanctified and as an example and a light amongst their peers that their peers can follow and say, this is better than a rock star because this God is with me when I'm not on stage.
Right.
This God is with me all the time. Not at my highest moment like a rock star, but at my lowest moment and my highest moment. And every time in between, my God is with me.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see. That's where my blessing comes from this, is knowing. And I see it. These children will be there. I know life. I'm 50.
Yeah.
These children will see these days. And when they see these days, this word will be with them and they will turn to it.
Yeah.
That's what we're teaching them. And in order for them to learn it, they
Equipping
have to change from good players to good students. They have to know there's a difference in the time, and that when it's time to be a good student, they have to be a good student, and that it's worth it, and that it's good for them.
Yeah.
These children
everything
will
has its
face
time and
hard
place.
times, and when they face these hard times, these words will come to them because they've learned to be good students.
Right.
They've disciplined themselves and have become good students. Don't keep them away from us.
Right. Well, you know that music means it's time for us to get out of here.
Amen.
Now,
Yeah.
all right, a couple things going on tonight. There is the Veterans Church starting at 6:30 p.m. Right here on Acts Media Group's Facebook page, also on YouTube. Well, it's not on YouTube, sorry. It's just on Facebook. Of course, next, there is not going to be a live show next because Skylar Carter is not here. But we'll keep something out there. We'll play another video for you, so that way you guys will have something to watch. But anyways,
We love you.
we love you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Morning Drive today. We'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. So until then, my friends, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt,
My name is Jay.
and this has been the Morning Drive.
.bc.
Who I was before.